Hey, welcome back to Right At MMA. My name's Connor and this is Yaz, and today we're going to be going over our fundamental hard blocks. And hard blocks may be a new term for you, but in my curriculum, it's your best way of accepting the fact that you're going to get hit, right? So that could be with catching it with your palms, right? With your parries, right? Blocking against the sides of your head, turtling. You can consider that all hard blocking. And again, this is sort of a term that's special to my program, right? Just to differentiate between using head movement, which I refer to as soft blocking. But that's a story for another day. Anyways, let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to be going over 3 styles of blocks here, right? One with the hand, one with the forearm, and one with the elbow, right? And that's more or less where most of our hard blocking is going to be happening. And again, this is all about accepting the fact that we're getting hit, but dealing with it in the best way possible, right? And that doesn't sound pleasant, right? It's always better to avoid getting hit, but it's just not an option. If you're going to get into boxing and kickboxing, you're going to get hit, but you just need to deal with it in the best way possible. So just to start, again, hand blocking. So learning how to parry. If Yazzy's throwing a jab at me, right? That's our lead hand going straight out to my face. Boom. I want to be able to catch it with my palm right in front of my face, but without obstructing my own vision. And I like describing this like I'm building a wall, right? And something really important to understand about building that wall is not to reach and not to hit, right? Again, a wall doesn't hit back. A wall accepts the fact that something's running into it and then deals with it in the best way it can. Sort of a weird analogy, but I think you kind of get the point, right? So if she jabs, boom, I catch with my palm on the same side. So if it's her left hand going straight out to my face, I use my right hand, right, and I catch it. But if she was to feint me, and this is where the wall analogy comes into play, she was to feint and throw that jab, I don't want to smack at that punch and end up with my hand way below my face and out here. This is where a lot of people get countered when they're first starting, or if they've built a really poor pattern of smacking at their parries, reaching at their parries, overreacting with their hands. An advanced level fighter will see that and you'll be done. So, right, she jabs at me, boom, I catch with my same side hand right in front of it. The reason why I don't want to use my opposite hand is because I'll expose myself, right, to her free hand now. Right, so she should have the opportunity to hit me with that opposite hand right after that. And maybe I do block it, but I'll kind of end up doing something like this, and this is a poor position to be in. Much better to be here or to be here, right? So if she was to cross at me, the same concept still applies, right? I use my same side hand, even if she really tries to hit me, right? Try to hit my face, right? Commit. Good, right? I use that hand to catch right in the center of my palm, and it doesn't take much energy. I shouldn't feel like I need to bring a shit ton of strength to actually stop that punch. Soon as her hand hits mine, it should be deflecting that impact off, and if she punches really hard, it doesn't matter. It hits my hand, it's gonna sort of screw up the path that it wants to take. So those are our parries right in front of our face, or hand blocks for our hard blocking. So next one, she's throwing hooks to the sides of my head. And this is kind of where we'll get into learning about turtling. And that could be a whole video on its own, but just for basics and learning from the start. Can you take this angle a little bit? When she's throwing her left hook at me, right, that hook should be wrapping around the side of my guard. And I need to be able to, right, engage my hand, my forearm, my bicep, my shoulder, and my neck, all as one really strong unit behind this block. So as that comes in, right, I brace really hard against it, not to push myself, not to throw my head against it, right, but just being strong against that, right? So again, she goes left hook, right, and again, right, and you're taking impact here, but you're dealing with it as best as you can, right? Really important to understand too, not to lift up the elbow too high when we're doing this block. If I was to do that, she could fake me and then attack my body, and my hand would be way too far away to make the adjustment to protect my body afterwards. And again, high-level strikers will do this quite often. Make sense? Yeah? Good? Okay. So same thing with her right hook. If she's throwing a right hook at me, right, it's a subtle raise of that guard connecting to the side of my head and not getting that elbow so far off my body that I can't make the adjustment to protect my side again. So she goes right hook, boom, right? And I'm strong against it. right? And again, this is more forearms than anything else. She goes for the other side. And again, back. Right? She goes for her jab and cross again, recapping those. Right, on the same side. Right? And the hooks. Right, really, really simple stuff. Right, I'm parrying with my hand, right, connecting my hand to my forehead, keeping it strong, not keeping it off like this. That's not strong enough. There's no structure to that. I connect to the side of my head, right? I connect to the side of my head and I keep it as a tight unit. And if we're thinking about turtling, right, so if I'm just at like my wit's end, I don't know what the hell to do anymore, and I'm ending up turtling, this is still a dynamic guard. I'm moving with it, right? I'm connected, right? I'm feeling those shots come, and I'm not just sitting there like a punching bag getting smashed with every single one of them, not reacting at all. So for our last little bit of defense here, it's going to be elbow blocking, and this is going to be for against the body, right? Really simple to understand, right? So me, I hold a little bit more of a kickboxing guard, more or less. It's just connecting my elbow to my hip bone, right? My hip is right here, my hip is right here. All the soft stuff that we need to protect is right in between, right, where our elbows usually are, right, and where our hip bone is. So you can see how small it really is for me to cover that spot without exposing much else. If it comes down the middle, it's just a little shift in front. But the same thing, look how far my hands are coming off my face. All right, now watch my hips. How much are my hips really moving on these blocks? Right, I'm not doing this, right, and throwing my ass around while I'm trying to defend myself. Right? Doesn't look, yeah, Shakira. Okay, right. If she's going with her left hook to the body, just a little bit here, yes. All right. She's throwing that left hook at my body. It really is that simple, right? Of being able to cover my side. All right, really, really simple stuff. All right, and again, the mistake that I don't want to make is doing something like this, right, where I go boom, right, and my head is way available to get smashed. Right, it's a very subtle block. We're just touching my elbow against my side. Vice versa over here, when she goes for that right hook to the body, boom, right? It's that very subtle shift, not throwing my butt out, right? And I'm right in front of that block. And it doesn't take much, right, for you to make the mistake of dropping that hand a little bit too far. Now my head is way available to get hit, or she could throw a right hook to the body and then a head kick behind it. And that's, right, not impossible to think about happening. So again, from the top, we have our hand blocks for our parries, right? We have the hook blocks on the side of the head, right? Answering the telephone sort of deal, right? Strong against it, structured in our movements, right? And then we have the hooks against the sides of our body, right? Connecting with our elbows against the fleshy part right above our hip bone. Kind of just sits in there like a pocket, right? You can feel yourself elbow your hip. And that's sort of an easy way to find that spot. Right, like you're elbowing yourself in your hip. Some people that I've done defense with in the past, right, they'll have like these big bruises on their sides from stacking their elbows into their hips, right, and keeping it super tight. I'm also hitting them in the belly pretty hard too, but you know. Anyways, okay, thank you so much for watching. Again, my name's Connor. This is Yaz. Follow us on Instagram. They're all in the bios. Like the video if you learned a little bit about your fundamentals, and leave a comment if you like to defend yourself some other way. I love reading the comments as long as you're not attacking me. But anyways, check out some of my other content. There's going to be like pictures somewhere on the screen that you can grab. Yeah, cool. Thanks. See you next time.